Always dreamed of. Here we go, guys. So Volskaya Industries right now, Chinese Taipei ahead 2-0 over Brazil. But perhaps, mayhaps, may chance, Brazil will come back in this series. But I gotta say, as time has gone on, Chinese Taipei has seemed to have their number more and more.
Yeah, I think that's it. And you look at what K-Momo's doing too. The mind games are very real. We saw some of those replays on Control Center where he was getting the big diva bombs, and they're punishing the aggression of Brazil. It's very transparent. They pop Transcendence, they come in, but guess what? That doesn't actually save you against the burst damage from a self-destruct. So right. It's a pretty easy punish right now, and Brazil, we'll see if the halftime helped them make some adaptations. We are going to see Zonda playing the Sombra now on the defense, a very common tactic for point A of Volskaya.
Well, it's pretty rare these days that you don't see a Sombra on defense on Volskaya. I mean, you get that hack on the big health pack immediately, and then you just try to defend the room a bit. But teams have adapted. You know, we've seen a lot of attacking teams go around the right side, try to get in and control that room and deny the second hack, and that works pretty well. So if Brazil knows their stuff, which obviously they do, I'd imagine we're going to see something like that as we see them move out of spawn. Here we go. Brazil on the attack, Chinese Taipei on the defense. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, they know they're going to have to head through this hallway. Actually, Zonda playing pretty far out right there, and he just gets Calero
That's
instantly.
Not supposed to happen until you have EMP.
This is, Flame talked about it. This is the issue with the diva. Whether it's Liko or whether it's Muri is playing these divas, that should not be happening, right? You know the Sombra is going to come out and poke you right there, and you can't just let her unleash a clip into Zenyatta's head.
See, somewhere like Boombox on Team UK's, his rage is just building. It's only making him stronger seeing these Zenyatas die.
Liko is going to make a swap over to the Reaper right now. So again, close range attack here. They want to control that point very quickly. Nice. That's a good kill as he catches Realman a little bit too close.
Yeah, he gets back. I mean, that health pack, they might be able to deny the hack from Sombra here. They got to keep Liko alive for the moment. He's got the Orb of Harmony on him. And there's the EMP coming in for Chinese Taipei. Here comes the dive. They got to make it work right here, right now. Reaper still a lot of damage with just that left click, but it doesn't matter. Chinese Taipei crushes Brazil.
Notice how with that EMP, they didn't deal with the Reaper at all. He's still a danger even when he's EMP'd because all of his damage coming from those shotguns. So they go to the second story instead and just pursue the targets up there. They just ignore entirely this Reaper. Go for the diva instead, then double back with a huge advantage onto the Reaper instead. So target selection on point.
It was a nice engage by Zonda too. Generally engaging for the EMP with the translocator is a bit more dangerous, but he was able to stay close enough to the door that he stayed safe. So some more swaps from Brazil. Marie's over on the Pharah now. And
Liko will be moving over to the diva, so still trying to deal with the scenario. No mercy swap to give any kind of pocket damage boosting or healing.
Yeah, the tricky part is now you can just kind of sit in the room with the big health pack because it's going to come back so frequently. A lot of that Pharah damage is channeled into EMP charge. There's an EMP coming in already. Calero goes down. Chinese Taipei engaging once again. Kills on both sides, but it's looking very much in favor of Chinese Taipei once more.
Yeah, it is. They catch him out off guard right there in an open area for the EMP, and of course, without shields, that Zenyatta 50 HP goes down very quickly to some Tracer focus fire. And that's going to be it. They are pushed back once again. And as every time they have that EMP, they can contest the point. And the problem with switching to this Pharah is you don't have another hero that can get on the point. So as you say, Doa, they can just sit in this bunker with that hacked mega health back.
I mean, those rockets are basically little happy barrels of EMP charge, Joy.
They're little happy barrels of EMP charge.
That's right.
That's how I like to think about Pharah rockets.
Monte Cristo.
Bacon Jack going to pick off Alamau in the back line to start things off, and that'll be another stagger and delay for Brazil.
Alamau, that's what I would say if I was a Sombra player. Seeing that
Alamau. That's what Sombra players say when they EMP a Zenyatta, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. Alamau. A lot of ults for Brazil coming in with this push. They've got an opportunity here.
Here I am.
Zomba with a pretty good angle on Maurice, actually. It's a lot of damage onto that Pharah.
And even with the Sombra, you get that Pharah down to half HP, going to delay her even more. No fast way besides that orb to get her up, and you need that orb on a diver if you're going in. They are going to try and attack with this sound barrier.
That sound barrier used where Zomba, there's the EMP cleared out. Transcendence used just before the EMP came in, though, so a chance for Brazil. Transcendence in return from Chinese Taipei. Zonda hunting down the Zenyatta anyway, but it's Bacon Jack who grabs the kill. And yep, Liko forced out on the D.Va pretty quick. Zonda actually gets back to the health pack just in time, and man, another tough attack for Brazil, and this may be it. They're out of time.
They are out of time. Liko has been debacked right now, not going to give him an opportunity, finishing him off last, and that's going to be overtime ticking down.
That's that.
Nobody is going to be getting to that point.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a full hold from Chinese Taipei.
Pretty strong run from Chinese Taipei. I mean, Brazil...
That EMP was not good either to end that. To end that round. He definitely had time to react to the Transcendence, but it was late all the same. So they didn't get a lot of value, but it didn't matter. Not enough people caught in the Transcendence right there, and Brazil can't get any headway, not even a single tick.
Well, it's got to be so frustrating for Brazil, because I like what these guys are doing overall in that they're adapting, right? They're saying, all right, this isn't working, let's try something else. They've got a lot of strategies, but the problem is Chinese Taipei is just so ready for anything that's thrown at them. They're like that bad guy in DMZ, or DMZ, DBZ. Spent a lot of North Korea on the news lately. I was going to say. All right, I've been
in the demilitarized zone. Yeah, you have.
That's right. So anyway, DBZ, where like Goku's trying to hit some guy and he like disappears and then appears behind him. That's what it's like playing against Chinese Taipei.
Okay.
Took a while to get out there, but you get the idea now.
DBZ analogy complete.
That's right. Mission complete. Thank you. Find out next time if Doa can make another reference on the next episode.
That's okay. We always know that you can, but it does take some time.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it takes 3 episodes to get one analogy out.
You know, sometimes we try to be topical. Sometimes we try to be entertaining, and sometimes it blends unintentionally. Yeah. It's the best time.
It is a wonderful time.
Chinese Taipei on the attack. All they need to do is take that very first tick on point A, and they will win the map. And Sinkler, for now anyway, on that Widowmaker. I wonder if he's going to stick with it. We've seen a good amount of Widow on this map over the months.
I'd like to see it. Maybe you get that lucky pickoff, especially if you can hit the Ana or something, find that sight line, but is just going to switch back to the Zenyatta. Chinese Taipei winning pretty comfortably now, and I think that if they have any other cards, you hold them close to the vest. Don't show in this hard group exactly what you're going to be playing. If you have any other tactics that you've been working on over the past couple of months, they're going to head to the high ground immediately.
Yep. Sneaking around the right side. Again, you want to control that room with the big health pack. Deny the hack again from Sombra.
Peek there from the Zenyatta. Now they're just going to cautiously play around this health pack. And we've seen how comfortable this Taipei roster is at playing the long game, playing the patient game, getting that poke down due to falling low before getting back to that health back, and it's just all about this soldier poke. They're going to demech the D.Va. That is huge. Zonda's going to have an opportunity.
Man.
He sees the demech and he goes up top immediately.
Yeah, and immediately Maurice falls, having Liko knocked out the D.Va suit. Devastating for Brazil. They only need the first tick, and they're probably going to get it right here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the kills are coming through. They have to contest this point, but there's just not enough members of Team Brazil.
Yeah, that's that. All right, well, Chinese Taipei rocks them on the attack round, and they have won the series, but again, this is a 4-map set. Still want that last map point too.
That was a really good attack, though. Notice that Bacon Jack was on the high ground. He went over the bridge to the opposite side where Maurice was on the soldier, and then they waited for the D.Va to get desuited. And Zonda again comes up the stairs, and it looks like he's calling those shots because Bacon Jack collapses on the soldier while he's distracted in that poke war against Zonda. So target selection excellent. The plan was there, and as soon as you see that D.Va demeched, that's when the trap springs and they clean up the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. So 1 map left in this 4-map set. We'll see what Brazil's choice is going to be. And yeah, the match is technically already in Chinese Taipei's pocket. They've won this one. But you always want that last map, because for Chinese Taipei, getting that 4th map win is a big deal. And for Brazil, getting that 1 map might make the difference down the road. We don't know how this group is going to play out yet. So every single map is important.
It definitely is, especially in this group, right? This group is tough. We have a couple of full rosters of professional teams that are playing in this match, and we have an American team that did very well to start out the day and is going to be considered a major threat.
No bias.
No bias.
No, we're the ones that have the Korean bias, remember?
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely us.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about American bias from us. Yeah, right.
Right.
Well, looks like Dorado is going to be our final map here.
Interesting. We've seen more and more Dorado over the past couple of weeks. One of my favorite maps in the game, and Will Brazil have a unique strategy to use here? Because you really have to like the fact that Chinese Taipei has been using a lot of Soldier, which is an efficient way to defend the first point before you get into the marketplace. And their high ground control has been good across all the maps we've seen so far. I don't know if this would be the map that I would necessarily pick when you have that Route 66 where maybe you can get that full hold with a Sombra.
Yeah. You know, this is one of my favorite maps too, because I remember back in the beta, Monte Cristo, when you and I queued up against each other, and then I Genji reflected your fire barrage back into you. That was a good time.
That was a good time in the early days of Overwatch.
Oh, yes.
And then you taunted me with it.
Fond memories, yes. I put it in my frag video. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube for anyone to see. You can look it up.
Yes, please watch my shame.
Watch my shame. Monte Cristo 2017. I get a t-shirt with that? We can do that.
We can definitely do that.
Soccer Blues. Yeah. Well, here we go, guys. Dorado. Last chance for Brazil to take a map point here in the series against Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei, though, certainly looking like they've got what it takes to complete the clean sweep here.
And you said it wasn't going to be for Overwatch, Doa.
I was wrong. I admit that, and I will own it.
Well, we'll see. Brazil still has
my shame.
I will.
I know.
That's pretty much. That's pretty much what I feed off of, Doa. I'm basically a vampire.
You're not a social
that
vampire.
Feeds off your shame.
You're a shame vampire. Yeah. No wonder you coached an NA eSports team at one point.
And owned one. That's
right.
That
really
was,
got your fill of shame
That's
there,
the proof. I'm just a shame-pyre.
Shame-pyre. I'm glad we got that established. It's about time that got out in the open. Here comes Brazil on the attack here. Pretty standard dive coming out for both teams, except Chinese Taipei with that Ana, something you don't see quite as often.
Yeah, but on this map, more on a play, particularly on point A, just because you have that high ground control and there's such good long sightlines to support your tanks on the low ground.
Yeah.
It's not really going to stop the cart from moving, though. Brazil getting some nice headway, but this is where it comes down. Winston and D.Va diving down, but a counter dive here from Brazil, forcing them off the high ground.
That was a good dive. Yeah, I mean, Zonda comes back with a kill on Liko, but the move was good from Brazil. It put Chinese Taipei down at that high ground. It got the payload crucially through that little choke, which is sometimes very hard. So good start for Brazil. This is looking a little bit like what we saw on King's Row.
Well, also no overcommitment. We've talked about Neil maybe diving a little bit too deep. Zhongyi is going to be the recipient of the first nano boost and just pushes them off the cart. Nice falling back. Brazil looks like they're playing more cautiously this time. They're playing better zone control and going less for those big engages and those big kills.
Dudu's got his ultimate as well to work with. And thank you, Genji. I would not have known the payload has stopped without you.
He's here to help out.
What a guy.
Galero, too, has the Transcendence before anybody on Chinese Taipei is going to get, a defensive support ultimate, since Sinclair already used that nano boost. So maybe a chance here to push forward. K-Mobo not anywhere close to that self-destruct, so the punish that we've seen from Chinese Taipei over this series not going to be in the pocket of Taipei.
All right, Liko taking his anger out on some railings, as we all do in Overwatch, constantly. Much better.
Looking
Here we go.
Coming a shot on the side. Nearly has the nano blade up, but he's going to get zoned out right now by the Winston.
Yeah, Joni a little bit low. Has to pop that primal rage to stay up. Brazil used their sound barrier too as they come in. And we've got the tac visor for Zonda now. Oh, he goes down though, courtesy of Maurice. And Brazil certainly looking like they can finish point A here.
Yeah, very nice kill. Liko pulls out the Dragon Blade in the corridor, tries to pick it up, but can't quite get close enough.
It was a zoning Dragon Blade.
Oh, he got one.
Yeah. There we go.
D-meching K-Momo at the very least. They do push through point A, so 4 minutes still remaining. Nice initial attack here from Brazil, and they're going to use that advantage push all the way to the doors. And they just have the Lucio on point B. Now here we go, poking through the doorway right now, getting a few headshots, trying to build up that ult meter again and prevent Chinese Taipei from retaking the high ground with Zonda's Soldier 76.
Well, that's the idea, is you got to keep that defensive team off the high ground, and it's tough to do that. Chinese Taipei going up, looks like they're diving already. They put the nano boost onto Zhongyi. Zonda goes down though, so Chinese Taipei having to back up and regroup a little bit. Seems like an aggressive nano boost. You think that was maybe a little bit of an over-aggressive one?
I think that the nano boosts haven't been great from Chinese Taipei so far, and Pretty easily dodged out by Brazil.
Yeah.
And this is, like you say, Doa, looking a lot more like King's Row. Their first attack that we saw, picks rolling into a free-moving cart and a lot of aggression.
Okay, wow, Sinclair goes down early. Both Tracers picking up kills with their ultimates.
Well, that's a late sound barrier.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Something for Brazil to possibly take advantage of here as they fall back. No, it's going to be about it. Okay, so Chinese Taipei holding for the moment.
Self-destruct not effective there for Brazil.
Not really.
With the Winston bubble from Zhongyi absorbing the damage. So Liko on the retreat right now all the way back. He will not be pursued close to the spawn. And Chinese Taipei has an opportunity to reset. Brazil will have the combination of the Trance and the Dragon Blade. This should be enough to push them through to point C. They don't have very far to move on the cart, and as long as they protect that Genji, they're in a good position.
It depends on the execution, of course. Zonda pretty close to his tac visor on the other side, but Brazil going deep on the dive, trying to push Chinese Taipei back into the room. Meanwhile, Liko goes back to get the payload moving. Always a good thing to do on payload maps.
That is.
Oh, Colero can't get behind the payload though and dies to Zonda. That's a problem. Brazil pushed back already. That Zenyatta getting caught a little bit out, couldn't keep up with his team.
I think you just have to send one person over to the cart immediately to try and push it forward, because everybody went up around the side onto the high ground opposite of the payload, and then they had to rush over the payload to actually push it. So nothing much accomplished by Brazil in that approach. And you know, you have the zone control with the Dragon Blade, as we're seeing, and the Transcendence.
Zonda does get cut down eventually here. Couple kills for Liko as he takes out K-Momo as well. And here's the fight Brazil's been looking for. The Transcendence, you know, maybe not quite as necessary.
Definitely not necessary on the back. They
does get the payload moving though.
It did. They already had the sound barrier used, and it was effective to get the pickoff. So Stall now going to be coming through with the Primal Rage, and they wish they had saved that Transcendence for this extended fight.
Now Transcendence for Chinese Taipei right now. Zonda with the Helix rocket as Dudu comes in to try to cause some trouble, getting zoned down now a little bit by Neil. There's a Primal Rage. Brazil, there's a lot of desperation right now. Neil really went in hard there without any support, and Chinese Taipei able to just separate him, kill him, and then go back on the Brazilian team. And now there's only about 40 seconds remaining, and Brazil has no ults to work with.
And they're staggering the Baby Diva too. K-Momo is going to throw himself off the edge, but look at the Diva. The Baby Diva is still alive, running away back to the spawn. Only now does Muriz die.
That's so rough. That's going to really slow things down for Brazil.
That was a very long run back for Muriz towards his spawn, and that's basically, I think, going to wrap it up for us right now.
Well, again, I mean, there's the issue where you just don't have a lot of ultimates. Maybe they'll have the Transcendence to work with, but they're going to need more. I mean, Chinese Taipei on the verge of about 4 ultimates here.
Yeah, they will, and especially the tac visor should be ready soon enough to clear off the cart.
Yeah, Dudu fighting for his life. A little bit of a Tracer duel there. Gets some good shots onto Bacon Jack here. Trying to build up that Pulse Bomb. Pulse Bomb comes out for Chinese Taipei though. Bacon Jack very, very low. 2 kills from K-Momo again. He finds another great self-destruct, and that's the end of the road for Brazil. Their push is basically over. OT ticking away. They can't get back to it. And now Chinese Taipei in prime position to sweep this match 4-0.
They have to get nearly to the end of the second point on the map, but that's not a tall ask. Brazil started out so well. Some more cautious play, better dive, very methodical control of the high ground. But at the very end, if your ult economy runs out too quickly, if you're trying to chain your ults together or stack those support ultimates in inefficient ways, then it becomes very difficult to push through towards the end.
You know, I think we were seeing a lot of frustration too from Brazil at the end there. I mean, the coordination that we saw earlier just completely fell apart. Ults were just kind of getting used without any real communication appearing to be part of that. So, well, it's tough. I think there's definitely some frustration surfacing now on that team.
The strange thing too was that very long flank that they made, where they just fell onto the low ground and then ran over to the cart, and Colero got picked off.
Yeah, you can't do that. Zenyatta's slow, man. I mean, he's very wise, but he's slow.
He's like a tortoise.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He's like a floating tortoise.
But Chinese Taipei was playing very far back inside the ziggurat, actually. So it's just, I don't. If you're going to make that approach, you have to commit to it and maybe send your Lucio down there to support it while you continue to hold on to that high ground. But sending everybody over there is just an extended waste of time. And what that did was it allowed Taipei to get their sound barrier back up when there was a fight Brazil could have taken with the Dragon Blade and a Transcendence and caught them in a choke point or being forced to stop the cart from rolling. And it just didn't happen. And that's another 30 second, 1 minute drain.
Yeah. I've decided I want a new ability for Zenyatta where he puts his legs down and just runs really fast. I bet he could do it. He only floats because it's a Zen thing to do. He could run real fast if he wanted to. He's not making it. Bacon Jack on the Pharah this time around for Chinese Taipei. Looks like he's going to swap though. Yeah, Marie's on that soldier, maybe a bit of a
he saw the soldier in the Ana. He's like, okay, well, I don't want to deal with this when I can just play the Tracer instead. But he immediately gets Helix Rockets. So Maurice will deal with that problem. Bacon Jack first on the Pharah and then on the Tracer quite quickly.
Yep.
And now the waiting game continues. Bacon Jack going to respawn, and now's the time to get onto that card. Neil going to fall instantly against Sinclair. And we see that Diva from Liko up on the high ground, but the protection just not there. And now this is where you bully that card through with a man advantage.
I'd love to see the stats too, where you look at how many times Neil was the first person in Brazil to die in a fight, and I bet it'd be quite a few times.
It would, but again, it's the coordination with the Diva that's like, I mean, the Diva was just standing on top of the building right there, and there's some miscommunication that's happening between the players that's causing these situations to develop.
The worrying thing, though, is that this is a full team. This isn't a group of players that haven't spent much time playing with each other. These guys have been with each other for quite a while, actually. So when you see communication issues like that, it does make you concerned for how well they're going to do in the rest of the tournament.
They're going to try and engage right now with a nano boost onto the Winston, but that's going to be Chinese Taipei fleeing, but the cart's still rolling. Bacon Jack gets both supports with a pulse bomb.
Yeah, meanwhile, Bacon Jack is just like, you know what? I'm going to just carry. How about that, guys? Is that okay? Yeah, they're going to take point A, and they're going to have tons of time to take the payload the rest of the way and win this match.
And tons of ultimates, too. And this is where Zonda makes that beeline up to the high ground. Bacon Jack on the replay. And they just get zoned out and destroyed in a choke point by the Pulse Bomb and by the Winston from Junggi. Junggi's been really good at reacting to the damage from his DPS for this match. Like, he's been on the point and about just focusing down the members as they get low and following his DPS's lead.
Zonda sneaking around on the high ground there. He's very agile for an older fellow. There we go, puts out that Biotic Field, and that's a good position to push Brazil off of the high ground.
They're hoping to demech this Diva so they can use the Tac Visor. That's what's going on right now. They're not going to find that opportunity. Has to fall down, and the Tac Visor from Yuri's actually going to do more damage.
Yeah, Junggi's going to try to contain it with his Winston shield, though, and that's going to allow Bacon Jack to get some opportunities on the outside here. Brazil pops that self-destruct, not going to find any kills with that. They're immediately on top of Liko again. Bacon Jack doing tons of damage from behind. You can see that Diva just firing, or taking fire from both sides, rather. K-Momo comes in, no kills from that self-destruct, but it does force Brazil back, and that payload is already most of the way to where Chinese Taipei needs to take it.
Dudu just drops the pulse bomb on the ground, but he dies immediately thereafter. So Zonda now is just going to create some space with the Tac Visor. He's trying to judge whether there's enough time to go up to that high ground. Decides yes, he does, and he will run up that staircase and try and push Brazil off the point. Still 3 minutes and 15 seconds for them to push it just a few meters.
Last-ditch effort defense for Brazil right here. They're going to pop the sound barrier, both sides using that Lucio ultimate, and we'll see if Brazil can maybe buy themselves a little bit of breathing room. Nano boost now into Neil as he dives over, looking for those supports. K-Momo does pop Liko out of the Diva suit, so that's a good start.
But they killed Zonda during the Tac Visor, Doa. That was crucial. So even though the Diva mech went down, it was already too late. Brazil with a successful boost.
Yep. All right, Brazil. They have the Transcendence now to try to keep whoever's left up. And Junggi has that Primal Rage as well if he wants to try to push things forward for Chinese Taipei a little bit more. It seems like it's only a matter of time here. That payload moving so close. There it is. Oh, 0.59 meters yet, but that's it. There we go. Chinese Taipei completes the clean sweep against Brazil. A strong showing for the Chinese Taipei team.
Indeed. And we thought maybe, Doa, it wouldn't be for Overwatch at the start with Brazil's strong initial push, but the adaptation of the Chinese Taipei side was just too much.
Yep.
And they got back into their groove, what we're used to seeing from them, a lot of Soldier and a lot of Bacon Jack's Tracer. And they made, if not the compositional changes, the stylistic changes to punish the aggression from the Brazilian side.
Yeah, a lot to talk about with that match. Let's toss it over the desk and see what our analysts have to say to break that one down.